It's the World Series. How about that?
We made it.
It's the World Series. We made it here on the pitch clock. I'm Jeremy. You guys know that. I'm wearing my pitch clock hat. So is Taylor. We also have Chris Cody and inexplicably Ethan Badowski with us for this episode.
Here
Participating in our trivia portion, Adnan Virk will be with us to talk all things 2024 World Series between the Yankees and Dodgers, but our resident Yankees fan. Taylor, what is your trivia for today?
In 1956, when Don Larson threw a perfect game against... No, that's not the game, but it was Dodgers-Yankees.
Yogi Bear.
The game today is 3 strikes, and you're out. 22 Yankees or Dodgers have 14 or more runs batted in the World Series.
Wow.
Current?
Oh,
all time?
great.
Okay, current. That was dumb.
Okay. Have how many? 14 or more
14
RBI?
Or more RBIs in the World Series. So it's 22 total. You guys will alternate guesses. We'll go Ethan.
That's garbage.
Chris, Jared.
That's utter
Now let me
garbage.
ask you a question. This is in World Series in general, not
Clock
World Series
is
against
ticking.
each other, right?
World Series
In general.
7 seconds.
Okay.
Ethan.
Starting with Yogi Berra.
Number 2, Yogi
Yeah, of
Berra,
course.
39 RBIs.
Chris?
This is fun.
And this is in the World Series, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to go with Derek Jeter.
Strike 1.
I'm going to stop cursing. Sorry. That's 2 F-bombs for me so far. Sorry.
All right. 2 F-bombs and 1 strike for Chris Cody. I'm going to submit Mickey Mantle.
Mickey Mantle, number 1.
Number 1 on the board.
When he said Yogi, I was like, I could say Mickey right now.
Derek Jeter, for the people listening at home, this is the top 22, 45th.
Oh,
Wow.
How many RBI in World Series? So you don't know? Okay.
Not a lot. That's crazy. And now our guest, Adnan Virk, is here with us to talk about this Yankees-Dodgers World Series. It was the best case scenario for Major League Baseball from the beginning. We all, I think, wanted to believe that it might not happen, and yet it was the inevitable conclusion. Yankees-Dodgers, and it should be an incredible series. Adnan, I want to start here with the 2 biggest names in baseball, the 2 best performers in baseball, Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge. It's the first ever matchup of 2 50 home run hitters in the same season against each other in the World Series. Adnan, my question for you, which of these 2 players do you believe will have the better performance in the World Series, with Ohtani performing better thus far in the postseason and Judge struggling thus far?
I think it'll be Ohtani again. I think he'll just continue his trend because the Dodgers relievers are no joke right now, Jeremy. Their top 6 relievers have a .84 ERA. So Judge is going to face just an array of high leverage relievers coming out of that bullpen, which is why I think LA is going to be favored in this series, along with, as you mentioned, Ohtani and Betts and Freeman, et cetera. To your point about the 2 1 seeds, which, I mean, I kept trying to poo-poo the notion because so far in baseball, especially on this playoff format, we've seen so many upsets. I tried to explain to people, I said, listen, in NBA, the number 1 team's the Celtics. They're going to win the finals, and they do. You know, the Warriors, the Cavs, whoever the number 1 seed is, they'll be there. That's how it works in basketball. Chiefs may not have been number 1 seed a year ago, but guess what? With Mahomes, they're always going to be the favorite. In baseball, it doesn't happen that way. As Billy Beane famously said, it's a crapshoot. My blank doesn't work in the playoffs. But to actually have both 1 seeds in the World Series, it's so special. It's incredibly memorable, I think, already for baseball because we haven't had Yankees-Dodgers since 1981, and yet it's the most popular World Series matchup ever. So with all that being said, 3rd time since 2000, top seeds from each league advancing. 2013 Sox-Cardinals, 2020 Rays-Dodgers. You forget the Rays were the 1 seed just a few years ago. But specific to your question, Ohtani Judge. Listen, Ohtani was quiet at first, right? Against the Padres, he was not doing much. He was sitting around 220. Then all of a sudden, he looked like an NLCS MVP, stepped up big time. Obviously, Betts has been really good. Judge hasn't hit much. When he has hit, at least he's hit a couple of big home runs. That's the good news. We'll always remember that home run off Clausen, which led to Stanton's home run. They didn't win that game, but it felt like a big moment for Judge. He's getting hotter, back-to-back home run games. But overall, it's still a ton of swing and miss in Aaron Judge's game. He's not the same player in the postseason. And you can no longer still say, well, it's a small sample size. He's been in the playoffs since 2017. Like every year he's in the playoffs. Against the Astros, he struggled mightily. But even this year, Royals and Guardians, I don't think this is A-list pitching necessarily, and Judge still struggles. So I think in this matchup of MVP, which everybody wants to see, so much star power, I think Ohtani will fare better, although obviously the Yankees pitching has been great so far, and I think it'll continue.
Yeah, Judge right now batting under the Mendoza line despite those couple of homers. And The good news is for the Yankees, they have several other guys in this lineup. You look at Giancarlo Stanton, he's 4th all-time in Yankees postseason home runs. Juan Soto, who we know may actually be the best hitter in baseball, even when you count Judge and Ohtani. He had his clutch home run late. Then there's Mookie Betts on the other side, who broke out of his slump. Freddie Freeman, who's obviously banged up. There are bats all over this series. So, Adnan, guys not named Ohtani and Judge, who is the player that you're looking at to be the X factor best performer in this series, whether it's one of the guys I just named or someone else?
No, it's a guy you mentioned, Stanton, Jeremy. He's been unbelievable. 5 homers, 11 RBI, 794 slug in 9 games this postseason. Each of his last 4 hits are home runs, and he's a home run 3 straight games. No one ever in the history of baseball has had 16 home runs in his first 36 postseason games. The guy's been unbelievable. And he's finally in the World Series. 1,649 regular season games, the 4th most among active players without a World Series appearance. Only McCutchen, Goldschmidt, Arenado more than him.
Wow.
He's from Los Angeles, so he returns to his native L.A., 10 homers, 26 RBI, and 25 career games at Dodger Stadium. Think about that. He averages more than a homer a game at Dodger Stadium. So he's been electric so far. He also owns the ballpark's farthest homer in the StatCast era. May 12th, 2015. He hit a home run 475 feet. So let's all pray, especially for Taylor and all the Yankees fans, that Stanton hits one 500 feet. But he's been awesome, man. Like, he's much maligned in this area. People point to the fact doesn't play 150 games. Fact, doesn't play defense. Guess what? He has been unbelievable this postseason. Anytime he hit a big hit, Stanton. You know, people look at the Class A home run. I keep looking at that Tanner Bybee because that felt like Guardians up 2-0. This game, Cleveland wins. You're going to go to Game 6 with Garrett Cole. And I was like, man, one swing of the bat, and all of a sudden the Yankees are back in this thing. It was a great moment for Stanton and for the Yankees. He's been awesome.
All right, Ethan, you're up for your second guess here. There's 1 strike to Chris.
I'm going to go with Bernie Williams.
That's a good one.
Are you looking at my sheet over here?
Burn, baby, burn. 21st.
Wow.
Just sneaks on the list.
Sneaky good in World
Chris?
Series.
Do I want to just go with some old Yankee?
Notice, I'm pretty sure we've only named Yankees thus far.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with the Dodger here. Really bad one, though. I don't even know if he played in the World Series with them. This is bad.
Oh, boy.
This is bad, guys. This is bad. Matt Kemp.
Matt Kemp never played.
I don't think he ever played in a World Series.
All right, this is not going well for me so far.
2 strikes for Chris. I'm going to go ahead and submit Hideki Matsui.
Hideki Matsui, not on the list.
Really?
He didn't make the top 22. He was 27.
So Ethan, with a lead.
Who said Ethan could play?
Yeah, Taylor did.
Yeah.
Jerk over there.
The best ability sometimes is available.
We're supposed to get top tier guests, and we have Ethan in the World Series.
Huge special.
Congratulations, Ethan.
Thank you.
Anyway,
all right.
you're up.
My next guess, he's played for 2 different teams in the World Series. One of them being the Dodgers.
I'm going to look at Ethan's sheet.
Gonna go with Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts.
Wow.
Not on the list.
Some would say worse guess than Matt Kemp.
How many RBIs does he have in the World Series?
Where I think you went wrong, it's he doesn't have those RBIs with the Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
Oh, it has. Okay.
With the Yankees or with the Dodgers.
Gotcha.
Chris?
That's why Kemp.
That's not why Kemp.
Oh, okay.
But I appreciate
I'll go with Tino Martinez.
Tino
That's a good
Martinez, 20th on the list.
Wow.
Great shout. Great shout.
He was tied with Bernie Williams, 14 RBIs.
All right.
I can't believe you guys have talked this much offense without mentioning Juan Soto. Like Jeremy said, like in passing, he might be the best hitter in this series. Is there any scenario, and I know I'm looking past this series, where the Yankees let Soto walk?
I think there is only in that, like, the Mets are going to pay just absurd money. So John Heyman, who's a New York Post writer and, of course, colleague at MLB Network, he pulled 14 different insiders. This was before the playoffs, Cody. 14 people within front offices in baseball. Give me the numbers on Soto. The lowest number was 10 for 450, and the highest was 14 for 660. Whew. That's before the playoffs. He's now hit 333 this postseason. He's hit 3 home runs. The guy's been massive. So I don't think we're going to get that 10 450. It's starting to feel like maybe it is going to be at least 5, if not pushing 6. So how many teams can actually pay that kind of money, right? Like even the Dodgers with their money, they just spent $1 billion. They're not signing Soto. The Cubs, okay, I know they have deep pockets, but they're not signing Soto. It really feels like it's going to be Mets versus Yankees. And would Steve Cohen be that guy to go, all right, hey, price is right, $1 more, I'll do it. I'll give Soto $700 million. Like, I think he's crazy. I don't think he's that crazy. So I don't foresee a scenario in which the Yankees don't re-sign him. But to your point, could it happen? Yeah. Like if he hits 450 in the World Series and just completely goes out, like somebody will get insane. One of these owners, I'm telling you, Steve Cohen, the Mets, what would be better? The Yankees win the World Series and I'll steal their star player. Like stranger things have happened. But to your overarching point, No, he's been indispensable to the team. That home run will live forever. Cliff Floyd, former Marlin great, did a great breakdown with me. No one's better at the elevated fastball than Soto. He's normally guys who, of course, want fastballs down the zone, especially lefty hitters. 95 up in the zone. Somehow he gets on top of that, Paul, and he goes, it's kind of like, Clippy goes, it's kind of like serving a dish, like a waiter. They just kind of like serve a dish. He goes, he's just able to keep that swing level, and he gets on top of 95 up in the zone. Nobody else can hit a high fastball like Juan Soto, and like Jeremy said, might be the best player in the game. So I think he's staying with the Yankees, and I think deep in his heart, he wants to stay. Having said that, Scott Boras is his client. Like, I've heard some whispers like, wow, he'll take less to be with the Yankees. I'm like, no, he's not. Let's make this blunt. If the Yankees offered 10 for 500 and the Mets offered 11 for 550, he's taking the Mets offer.
Like, I know
that's exactly
push
right.
That money,
like,
no question about it.
I know they signed Garrett Cole, and then they picked up the Stanton contract, but it seems like they've been waiting around. The Yankees have actually been not spending for what we were accustomed to 15, 20 years ago. So it seems like it just makes sense. If you're gonna just overspend on someone, Soto is worth it.
Yeah, the fact he's 25 years of age. I'm like, these are the contracts you want to sign these guys. Yeah. Normally, it's the Miguel Cabreras, the Pujols, the guy's 30, and you go, man, you get him 10 for 240. That's not going to be a good contract. For Soto, you're like, well, dude, he's 25. He's about to turn 26. Give him 14 years. Fine. He'll play until he's 40, and the last few years don't look good, but you lower the whole overall AAV. But you're totally right, Cody, that the years of the Yankees spending wildly. It's funny, the last time they won the World Series, what did they do? They went out and spent. They signed Mark Teixeira for $180 million. They signed A.J. Burnett, and they famously signed CC Sabathia for $161 million. That was all in that offseason. And then in 2009, they won the World Series. So this year, Cashman makes just major one move. I'll deal Michael King and a couple of good players for Soto. We're going to go win a World Series. If it ends up happening, obviously the world is yours when it comes to Soto and that contract.
I'm going to go ahead and guess $550 million over 14 years. But there's nothing better than the Yankees fan base being so remarkably miserable as a fan base that they're already complaining about losing Soto before the World Series has even happened. It's great. And speaking of complaining, there's nobody better to complain about than a manager. And I think, personally, both Aaron Boone and Dave Roberts have done a masterful job this postseason, whether it's managing their bullpens, whether it's, picking the right guys on the right day to start and come in later in the game. Whose reputation can get a bigger boost from winning this World Series? Because I think for so many, Adnan, Dave Roberts winning in 2020, nobody really gives the type of credit that's deserved for, everything that comes with winning a World Series. So which manager can benefit more with their fan base and nationally from winning a World Series this season?
You can make a case for Doc, Jeremy, because you're right. The one World Series you win is in this truncated, weird COVID year of 2020. But the fact he's in his fourth World Series in 8 seasons, like they've won the pennant 4 times. I think that's pretty notable. This guy's a great manager. Now, there was some whispers if the Dodgers lost the Padres, would his job be in jeopardy? Perhaps. But I think within the game and outside the game, Dave Roberts' reputation is assured. Oddly enough, though, Jim Bowden, former colleague at ESPN, does a great job at MLB Network Radio. He was telling a story about how his top 3 managers of the year in the National League are Mike Schilt, Carlos Mendoza, and I can't remember the throw off the top of my head, but it wasn't Dave Roberts. Point is, Dave Roberts texted him and was like, "Are you kidding?" He's like, "This was my best managing job." And Jim's laughing. He's like, "You won 98 games. Have you seen my pitching staff? Like this was genuinely good work by me." So I think people oftentimes can be their own harshest critics, but they can be their best evaluators. So for Dave Roberts to go, no, I know what I was up against. The fact that we got Landon Knack out here pitching pivotal games, this was great what we did for the Dodgers. So answer your question, though, it's Booney, without question. My old buddy from ESPN, he's the nicest human you'll ever meet. Everyone loves Booney, but he was under the gun this year. And he has an option for next year. And I would never put it this simplistically. I certainly didn't text it to him, but it was like, if you lose the Royals, he's probably out of a job. If you lose the Guardians, it's 50-50. And if he makes the World Series, he's going to get an extension.
Yep.
So it's worked out great for Booney because now I'm like, no, you ended the drought. You're in the World Series for the first time in 15 years. Win or lose, the Yankees have gone somewhere they haven't gone in a while. He's been the manager for 7 years. They made the playoffs 6 of 7 years. Last year was his worst year, which they still finished above 500, 82 wins, but missed the playoffs. I get it. But they bounced back. So I'm like, dude, if they win the World Series, he's getting a 5-year contract. If they lose the World Series, he's still getting a 3-year contract. But I think the perception has changed. I think for years it was always, hey, Aaron Boone's a great guy. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows he's a baseball lifer. His grandfather played baseball. His dad played baseball. He played baseball. But does he actually understand the whole art of managing? And he does. If you've watched this postseason, the fact early on he was willing to go to Clay Holmes or willing to go to Weaver specifically for like those 5-out saves, like, wow, that's the way Joe Torre would use Mariano Rivera. But then very quickly he realized once Holmes got touched up, against Fry. Once Weaver got touched up, it's like, hey, we can't just keep relying on these guys every situation. He's put in Mark Leiter Jr. in a playoff game.
Right.
Mark Leiter Jr. got added to the roster 12 hours before first pitch. Like, that is about as ballsy as it gets. I'm like, wow. Because Booney knew the numbers are inconceivable, fellas. The times that hitters face a reliever for the third time, batting average is 276, on base is 340, slugging is like 480. So the more and more times you get to face that same reliever, advantage to the team that is hitting. So he quickly saw that data and goes, I can't keep running out Weaver for 5-out saves. I can't keep using these guys. I'm going Tim Hill, who the last time we spoke, Taylor said he wasn't crazy about. Tim Hill, he's sticking it to Taylor. Like Mark Leiter Jr. and that mustache coming through. Yeah. And part of that has to be giving credit to the manager who believes in these guys at the biggest times possible. He pulled the strings perfectly.
I'm going to, Babe Ruth.
That is a good guess.
Yeah.
Babe Ruth, 5th on the list. Yeah. 30 RBIs in the fall.
I'm not going to get too cute here.
All right, I'm not going to get cute either here. DiMaggio, is he on this list?
Ooh.
Joe DiMaggio, number 4.
Wow, all right,
with
he is.
30 RBIs also.
All these old-ass Yankees.
Come on, you know
it's
these
Joe
Yankees.
DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Berra, and Babe.
I am going to go with...
Stop looking at our list.
All of the names I have on here are the names we've
How much
written
time is
down.
left on our pitch clock?
5 seconds.
5
Tell me.
seconds.
I mean, geez, I don't know. How can I know? How can I? I mean, I'm but
Need
a
a
man.
name.
I'm but a man. I am gonna go with Alex Rodriguez.
Strike 3 for
He was
Chris
only
Cody.
in one World Series, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig was number 3 on the
Ah, you misspoke. Ha!
Cut that.
Why didn't I just say
Cut that. Ethan.
Ooh.
We're essentially
here we
head-to-head now. 1 strike each. And we have, thus far, we have said Yogi Berra, Mickey Mantle, Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio, and Lou Gehrig.
Oh, I'm going off the board here.
I believe those are the only ones we
Dodger, Duke Snyder.
Duke Snyder, number 7 on the list.
That's a pull. Duke Snyder.
Thank you, MLB The Show.
There's got to be someone nicer than Aaron Boone. Come on, I know you're friends with him. Just give me one name that's nicer than Aaron Boone. Come on.
I mean, Alex Cora is a pretty nice guy. I'm working, as you know,
Right.
Cody, on Prime Monday Night Hockey here. So I was in Toronto yesterday. Our producer, Mark Askin, is a gigantic Red Sox fan. And I said, I'm going to do something for you today. I'm going to FaceTime Alex Cora. So I texted AC earlier. I texted the guy, I go, can you give me a couple minutes? And Alex was great. Like, I don't think if tomorrow if I was with Cody and they go, hey, this guy's a big Adnan Virk fan, I'm like, okay. I'm like, can you FaceTime him? I'm like, I don't know if I'd give you 5 minutes of FaceTime. I might be like, well, send him a text or like, tell him thank you. Alex Cora, probably the nicest human, and giving 5 minutes to my buddy Mark Askin. Booney, if I FaceTime Booney right now, go, hey, you're on the pitch clock. I don't think he's answering that call.
Well, it would be understandable considering he's got some World Series prep
I'm willing
to
to
do.
try, though, if you want to try.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, by the end of this, if you want to FaceTime Booney, I mean, we're not going to be mad about it. Adnan, look, we could dive into the pitching of both of these teams. You already mentioned the Dodgers and the way that their relievers have performed. We've now mentioned the way Aaron Boone has sort of pressed all the right buttons. But this is the pitch clock. We don't have enough time to dive into all of this in the long form. So now I'm going to have to ask you. You take the pitching into consideration. You take Ohtani and Judge. You take the managers. You take the rest of these rosters.
Ooh, prediction?
Adnan Virk, who is going to win the World Series and in how many
Let
games?
me write this down.
I'll do it because I know we're up against the clock here as well. But I want to give 2 other nuggets. Anthony Volpe has reached base safely all 9 games this postseason.
Right.
Under the radar, my man's hitting 310. 459 on base, 345 slug. And one more for you. Garrett Cole, who's starting game 1. He's faced 192 batters since September 1st. He has allowed 1 home run.
Good
that was
Lord.
against MJ Melendez.
So he's due.
All right, he's
good.
due. Shohei leadoff home run. Put all your money on it.
I'm pulling hard for Bodie and the New York Yankees. I live here in the New Jersey area. One of my kids is becoming a giant Yankees fan. But you're asking me deep down, what do I feel? Dodgers bullpen's been electric. Their offense is a juggernaut. I think the Dodgers win in 6.
The roller coaster of emotions that you just put Taylor through, who started fist pumping in the other room and then immediately put the thumbs down. It was incredible. Adnan Virk, hey, we probably only have 1 more episode of the pitch clock with the World Series going on. That's if we're lucky. So, Adnan, thank you so much for joining us on this World Series preview edition of the pitch clock. Now let's send it back to the competition between myself, Chris, and Ethan to wrap this thing up. All right, I have one that I want to say from the Dodgers, but I'm trying to just keep surviving, so I'm going to say Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson was on the list, number 16 with 17 RBIs.
How do we not say Mr. October until right now?
I'm When you said right fielder on those teams,
I'm out of Yankees.
It threw me to
what-
Reggie Jackson.
So Roger Maris not the right answer.
Ethan, you're up. Still one strike for each
This
of us.
guy was a Dodger, but I'm going to make sure I have his name right. Pee Wee Reese is on this list, right?
It was my next
I'm gonna
guess.
punch Ethan in the face.
What a
if he's
guess by Ethan.
That was my next
because
guess.
he's 18th on the
Yeah,
list.
Pee Wee Reese.
16 RBIs for Pee Wee.
Pee Wee Reese. Wow.
If I could reach you right now, I would punch you.
I've got. How about this one? Roy Campanella. Wow.
Roy Campanella not on the list. That's a second strike for Jeremy.
Loser.
All right.
Do you know where he would have been? Is he anywhere near this list, or am I just? Wow, that's
already
This is one of the
I
cases
see him
where
going to Google.
He might. I don't have.
That's
the
all right.
exact-
That's all right. That's all right. So 2 strikes for me. Ethan, you're back up here.
All right, this is bad of us, but have we not guessed Jackie Robinson yet?
I don't think he's on that.
That's a second strike.
Yeah.
Jackie
Oh.
Robinson
Second strike.
was 31st.
Okay.
Damn.
How about Paul O'Neill?
Paul O'Neill not
on the list. Okay, hold on. That's a 3rd strike for me. Ethan still no. Oh, because he started the
Ethan
round.
started it.
So Ethan is the victor. This
This is
bleeper.
unsatisfying. I would like to get a guess.
I mean,
But
you
I'll
don't
take
get an
the
extra
dub.
guess.
I'll take
We
the
now
dub.
get to.
I'll take
all
the
right.
dub.
So I come in 2nd place once again. Ethan swoops in. Congratulations
Special.
on your victory. Can we hear the rest of the list?
Yeah, no notable misses on this list. 6 was Bill Skowron,
Okay.
Gil McDougald, Hank Bauer,
Hank Bauer.
Hank Bauer.
Wow.
Bill
Callback.
Dickey, Gil Hodges, Billy Martin, Tony Lazzari, Elston Howard, Charlie Keller, Bob Musial, Bobby Richardson, Joe Gordon.
All right,
I
so I
wouldn't
feel
have
good.
had any of those names.
I named
Yeah,
outside of
any
Gil
of those.
Hodges. Outside of Gil
Yeah.
Hodges, I named every single name that I knew. I'm pretty proud of this. Honestly, guys, solid effort all the way around.
Not by me.
I like
and I
that.
think that level of competition should lead into a pretty terrific World Series here. So excited that that's coming up tomorrow night. And yeah, guys, stick around for another episode of the Pitch Clock next week.